Long before gunpowder, yew wood built empires. Today it's building a slingshot. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how I'm making a hammer grip slingshot from this large oversized Y fork. So let's dive right in and get started. Some woods are easy. Yew isn't one of them. This oversized yew fork has been sitting in my solar kiln outside my shed for months, waiting for the right project. And boys, today's the day it gets shaped into a hammer grip slingshot, a design for pure comfort and control. Yew's a fascinating wood, used for longbows for over 1,000 years. It's strong, springy and beautiful. It might not look like a fork now, but it indeed is. I've sketched out my design on some graph paper, stuck it down. I'm going to work to them lines that I've drawn. I have never actually made a hammer grip slingshot, so this is going to be a first for me. I'm really excited about how it could turn out, how it will turn out. Yew is a lovely material to work with. It looks fantastic when it's sanded up, polished, finished. But first things first, this bandsaw blade is brand new, but it is atrocious. And I'm going to show you now how it's atrocious. I'm going to need to change it. So, where the weld is, where do you see it's going to wiggle here? Look at that. Look at the state of that. That is unusable. Look at it hitting the wheel. That would be worse if it wasn't for them wheels. So that needs changed. Let's get that changed. Right, new blades on, moment of truth. You see it? It's actually quite a narrow blade. Let's turn it this way. Look at that. Beautiful. Yew isn't easy to work with. Hidden stresses in the wood can be unpredictable when you start cutting. That's part of the challenge and the fun. You can already see here the creamy sapwood hugging that rich orange heartwood. Every cut reveals a little more of what's hidden inside, and trust me, once this thing gets sanded and finished, the colour contrast is really going to pop. As the blade tracks through the yew, you'll notice that I'm leaving it slightly oversized. That gives me room to finesse the shape later on, and trust me, the real magic happens once we get into the shaping and sanding stages. By the end of this build, this rough old fork is going to look and shoot better than anything you'd expect just looking at it now. Stick around because the transformation is worth it. Cut the shape, earn the lines, now the real work begins. So, basic shape cut out. You can see this is a chunky boy and it needs to be chunky to get the good pistol grip. It's going to be tricky transitioning from the forks into handle, but we're going to make it work. I want to simulate this shape. This is a little pinch grip handle for a Chinese frame. Well, the forks have got pinches on them, but I really like that shape of handle. So we're going to transition it onto there and cut that out. Okay, so let me see if we can line this up as best we can. Put that, I wonder would it be easier drawn on that side? Yeah. Just very roughly. Or something like that. Let's cut that. Let's cut it. Cutting out these finger wells like this really help for positive hand placement. Ergonomics of the frame. Your fingers are always going to lie in the same place, and it saves me a hellish amount of sanding cutting it out this way. It's just quite tricky to do this with a bandsaw, and if you are going to attempt this, please be careful. Here, look, I thought I was just going to break them all off, but the yew's too strong and springy, it wouldn't break for me. So back to the bandsaw, get them all chopped out, ready for sanding. We have got a bit of side profile cut out. I want to work on this two-dimensional shape. and get that squared off, and then this squared off, and then we'll work from there. Tremendous amount of shaping in this thing, guys, but it's going to be worth it. As long as I don't mess up them forks. I need to keep the forks slim whilst keeping the handle fat, so I'm going to have quite a steep transition here. Don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but we'll figure it out. I went on to Amazon and got myself some 60 grit sanding tubes, spindle cylinders, whatever you want to call them. So let's get them fit up. Let's get this bad boy shaped. This is always the most daunting stage of a build like this. Big, chunky, ergonomic frame. It's 50mm thick in places. It's really rough, fresh off the bandsaw. Right now it's all about refining the shape, working to the lines, cleaning up the edges, blocking it out before you put the curves in. This part's slow and steady. One wrong move with a 60 grit sanding drum like that and you're going to throw off the whole handle. No shortcuts, just patient sanding, checking your lines, getting it ready for the real shaping work later on. Guys, so I have the shape near enough. These marks on the tip, you see them? So that's going to be the front of the tip. They're just there as guidelines. So I'm going to try and cut the back of this away to thin out the tips. But as you can see here and here, we've got a little over 10mm. But obviously we've got quite a lot of width there, so it's safe. But I need to thin the tips without eating too much into this depth. Because if I do, it'll be too weak, it'll be no good, it'll be scrap. So let's not do that, let's get these tips ripped down to the size that we want them. Now it's time to bring out the comfort. I'm sanding in deep finger grooves, not just shaping the wood but tailoring it to the hand. Every pass with the sander blends the curves a little more, smoothing the transitions so that it feels like an extension of your arm. It's not about perfect symmetry, it's about natural fit. You can be tricky here. The hard heartwood and the softer sapwood cut differently on the sander, so you have to keep a steady hand, but when you get it right, you can feel the frame lock into your fingers without even thinking about it. Right guys, here we are, done with shaping. Although whenever this is 60 grit, so the 180 grit, that'll be me starting to put the finish on it, but also refining the shape. This is a left hand hold hammer grip. I'm really happy with how this turned out. You can see this is quite narrow, but we've got loads of meat here for strength, and this is kind of the way the design needs to be for low forks, and that's what I was worried about, and I have achieved that. And let me tell you, this thing locks in. What a magnificent shape. Right, so let's start sanding. We'll do 150 grit, and then I think we'll do band grooves. Now I'm on to 150 grit. This is where it starts to clean up. I'm sanding out the deep scratches left from the rough 60 grit, and at the same time I'm tightening up the shape. Still keeping the lines sharp, just softening the edges a little. You can feel it starting to come alive in the hand now, even though we're not on to fine sanding yet. This is the part where patience really pays off. Rush it here and you'll regret it later. Now I'm just filing in some band grooves with a little chainsaw file. This will make the bands easier to be tied on. Now we're just doing a final little hand sand at 150 grit, just to tidy up all the little places that I couldn't get to with my spindle sander. 320 grit, it's the turning point. I'm knocking back the rough edges, but I'm not rushing it. Every pass with the spindle sander shapes it a little closer, but it's the hand sanding where it really starts to talk back. You feel the dips and the ridges, the spots that aren't right yet. Sight only gets you so far. Your hands don't lie. Use tricky, push too hard and the sapwood gives way faster than the heartwood. It'll throw the whole fill off if you're not careful. This is the point where it stops feeling like a lump of wood and starts feeling like something you really want to shoot. Now that we've sanded the 320, the handle already feels incredibly smooth, but we're going to take it even further. I'm using 600 grit for the final finish. At this stage it's less about shaping and more about polishing the surface. Light pressure is all you need, just enough to knock down any tiny fibres left behind. You'll feel the wood start to take on a silky texture under your fingers. Once it feels glassy and smooth and you're happy with it, it's time to brand it. This is my branding iron. It's been heating up for about 10 minutes. You want it hot enough to burn cleanly, but not so hot that it scorches too deep. With the handle fully sanded and branded, the last step is giving it a proper finish. I'm using boiled linseed oil. It soaks deep into the wood, bringing out the natural grain and adding the rich natural colour. I just flood the surface, making sure every part gets a good soak. After a few minutes, I wipe off the excess and let it dry. This finish not only looks great, but helps to protect the wood for years to come. Simple, natural, and really brings the whole slingshot to life. This is the finished slingshot, carved from a single piece of beautifully characteristic yew. Yew's one of the toughest, most flexible woods you can find. The natural curves, the grain, the strength, everything about this frame is meant to perform. If you want to build your own, I've put together a playlist showing you step by step how to make a natural slingshot. From selecting the wood, shaping, sanding, and fitting the bands. Check out my how to make a slingshot playlist, link below in the description. Take your time, get stuck in, and you might end up with something even better than this. Oh yeah, here, before you go, I forgot to mention, if I can hit that target over there in that tree, I'll run a 10% off May Day sale on catapultcarnage.co.uk. Use code May10. See you in the next one.